bagpipe practice. I try to go every weekend to stay in it, because if you don't practice regularly, we're talking like, I don't know, if I don't practice for a week or so, I can tell the difference immediately, because the air supply to the pipes just becomes so much more difficult to provide. So yeah, I try to go every Saturday and Sunday unless we've got something planned, but that usually works together with one individual lesson and one group lesson every 2 weeks. Funky. How long have I been living here? Way. I am now in my practice room, my rehearsal room. Pipes are already warmed up. Went quite well today, I must admit. The days that don't go so well when rehearsing, so some that are rather better. Today is one of the better days. I wanted to talk briefly about a film I watched last night, which was Jojo Rabbit. It's nominated for multiple Oscars, not that that's a criteria for me, but there was a lot of buzz around the film, so I decided to go and see it, which I did last night, and it was excellent. I highly recommend it. It's difficult to place, the film, in my opinion. It's funny, it's sad, it's got a lot of great moments in it, character moments between various people. I particularly like the relationship between the mother and the son, which was very good. I gather Scarlett Johansson's nominated for a supporting actress Oscar, and I must admit, she was really good in the whole film. I really, like I say, I enjoyed the relationship between her and the son. And yes, so many brilliant things. Taika Waititi, obviously it's his screenplay, he directed it. Great job, some really nice, beautiful shots in there. The colour I particularly liked. But also the script, and he himself is in the film, in case you don't know. He plays a version, I'll call it, of Hitler, of Adolf Hitler. And it's really very entertaining. It's very good. He's basically the 10-year-old kid's imaginary friend, and so it's a very interesting story. The basic gist of it is the kid is a Nazi, and he is in the Hitler Youth, the Hitlerjugend, and he obviously wants to be the best Nazi he can be, but you can clearly see from the start that his heart is actually not in it. He doesn't like these things that he's supposed to be doing and supposed to be feeling, particularly about Jewish people, and you can see how he just changes over the film. It's really well done, but at the same time, I mean, there are obviously war scenes in it as well, but generally I had to think a lot about what happens in the film and what actually happened in history, because the town it's set in, the surroundings, the buildings, the streets, etc. It looks very much like many Austrian towns. As you know, I live in Austria, so it felt very recognisable to me. And just thinking about what the atmosphere must have been like for these kids back then in the Hitler Youth, being bred, I'll call it, to hate and fuel all this ideology. It's quite shocking when you think about it more in depth. So it's a great film. I like films that make me think about things, and this one definitely did, because I generally like to read and watch things about the Second World War. I find it all very fascinating, obviously very tragic, horrible period in our history, but it was there, and I find it very interesting to read and hear things about it. And so this was something that I feel you don't see too much about what must have been like to be a kid in that age. As a comparison, for instance, I very like the film The Pianist, which also gives you a story about a person stuck in the Second World War. In that case, it's a Jewish ghetto. I highly recommend that film as well. But this one, like I say, shows the kids, and you just feel for them. It's the main character Jojo and his best friend. Their scenes are they're brilliant. I really love them. They have such a good chemistry as well, the two kids with each other. They do seem like best friends. It really does feel like that. And there's one particular, I won't spoil anything about the film, don't worry, but there's one particular scene that really shocked me. I must admit, I did not see it coming. And it has one of the probably best uses of music, a sound track, I mean not a soundtrack, I mean a song, an individual song that wasn't written for the film, but an already existing song, actually quite by now a rather old song, but still one of the best uses of a single song in a film ever. When it happens, it's just, there was actually a lady in the cinema a few rows behind me who she just shouted out of joy because she, obviously like me, is a great fan of the artist, and she just, like me, loved the moment. It was so well done. I highly recommend it. Please go and see it. It's very good. I suppose as I'm in the rehearsal room, I'll finish it off with a song. As you may or may not know, I'm supposing you will know because it's not like it's a small topic. The United Kingdom left the European Union. As you obviously can tell from my accent, or I think you can tell, I am Scottish. I'm a person of British nationality. I've got a British passport, and this means, as I am living in Austria, that quite a difficult time is coming. I mean, I suppose I'm definitely more lucky than most people because I was born in Vienna, raised in Vienna. I've been living in Vienna. Sorry, nearly lost my earplug there. Been working here, pay taxes, etc, etc. So my life is set here, so it won't be too much of a hassle. I'll just need to apply for a settled status in the EU, a permanent residency, and then that'll be it sorted. So I'm lucky that I don't particularly need the freedom of movement for my work. So that also won't be a problem because when it's just a few days for a taekwondo tournament, for instance, that's not a big problem. That's just business as usual, I'll call it. So that's not too bad. I believe it's if I stay longer than 90 days in a whole year, then I would have to apply, etc. for visas and such things, which doesn't happen to me. So I'll be fine. But it's still, for me, it's a very sad moment, the whole thing. And I particularly liked when the European Parliament, as a sort of sign of farewell, the nearly all of the parliamentarians there, they joined hands and sang Auld Lang Syne on the last day that British members were in the Parliament, and I thought it was a very great gesture. And to sort of underline this thought, Auld Lang Syne is obviously a great song about by Robert Burns, famous Scottish poet, about friendship and longing, I'll call it, or waiting to meet friends again, see them again sometime. So you never forget about your friends and you wish to see them again someday. It's a very beautiful song, and I have learned it on the bagpipes. I haven't, it's not too long ago actually, just sort of like 2 months ago, and I didn't get too many chances to practice it. I wanted to get it ready for Hogmanay so I could play it for New Year's, so I could play it for my family. And I did, but it was a bit dodgy. And I've been practicing it today. I hope it works on my first go. If not, I'll probably have to cut it so that you can get a nice version of the song. So I hope you enjoy. Finally, on the 5th or 6th try, but well, at least that's some good practice for my lungs and for my playing. So I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Take care.